Hey book friends, it's Caitlin and Tishka here. And today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm practicing using my little baby microphone, which is why I have a vest on. It just holds it really well. And I thought that I would talk to you about some queer book recommendations for Pride Month while I work on a little project. My plants, well, they're looking pretty nice from this angle, but there's actually quite a lot of dead stuff. This is just what I've already picked this morning. So I thought that it would be fun to just kind of like work on that and see what the sound is like with this microphone and just give you some recommendations. These are around 9 books that I've enjoyed in the last year or so that have like queer characters or some kind of focus on LGBT issues in some way. And these are a mix of like horror, fantasy, fiction, maybe a bit of romance. So I thought I would just run through them without giving any spoilers away while I kind of work on this. And yeah, let me know if you've read any of these or if you have similar book recommendations. The first book I want to talk about is called Patricia Wants to Cuddle. Now, this is technically horror, but it's super silly, and I just had such a fun time reading this. It kind of feels more like satire about reality TV. This dating show goes to this like isolated island in the Pacific Northwest, and they want to like film their finale there. But we get this like foreboding sense that there is some kind of monster there, and there have been like disappearances and stuff on this like island that's famous for being like this like lesbian stronghold. So the story follows like the different point of views of the contestants, and they're all like just really over the top, really obnoxious. And I love seeing like their true motivations for being on the show, because I do watch reality TV occasionally. My poison of choice is like 90 Day Fiance. Yeah, I always wonder like, what are these people thinking? Like, what do they actually want? Like, why are they here? And I really enjoyed like seeing their perspectives and seeing that like what they really want, like just making money, etc. And so we get closer and closer to kind of like what's probably the monster's lair, and then it just gets really crazy from there, and it's just a lot of fun. Like, I had a great time reading this. Why is it queer? Well, we have like this kind of lesbian island, maybe some sexually confused contestants. So yeah, maybe the monster. I'm not going to say anything about the monster, but I recommend this book. So since I'm with my plants right now, this is a good moment to talk about Eat the Ones You Love, which I just did a full review for. But this is like a queer Irish book about a sentient orchid that eats people. We meet this florist named Neve, who is in this like kind of like toxic relationship with her plant, and she's been like raising it over the years. And the thing is that it like has to eat people to survive. And so we meet this girl who starts working at the flower shop, named Shell, and we see that like Shell and Neve just have this like kind of like instant connection, and you get really scared that the plant is going to want to eat her, but she's also like the romantic interest. And so it just gets really suspenseful, and like you meet all these cool characters that you really like, and I just like fell in love with these people and like didn't want them to get eaten. The book is like half narrated like by this plant. I just really enjoyed it. Like, it could be kind of confusing following a story narrated by a plant, but it's a really fun time. I really liked it. Really great writing. Some kind of creepy body horror, but everything is really beautiful. Highly recommend. Do you want to see what I've gotten rid of so far? Looking pretty good. Okay, let's talk about one that is actually on my TBR. I just requested it on NetGalley, and I'm really hoping that I get approved, because like I just like know that I'm gonna love this book because it's like crafting horror. Okay, it's called Crafting for Sinners by Jenny Kiefer, and this is a story about like a queer woman who works at this craft store in this like tiny religious town, and she's been like in the closet, and I guess that her town or like her employers find out that she lives with a woman, and so she gets fired, and to retaliate she steals some yarn. And I, of course, like I haven't read it yet, so I don't understand what happens. Like, I imagine that it's kind of like a comedy, but apparently like everyone at the store, like they want to kill her, and she has to escape from the store using only like craft supplies as weapons. Yeah, it just sounds like a lot of fun. Like, I don't need any more information than that to be interested. I am already kind of like brainstorming like what kind of craft she's going to use, like what supplies she'll use to fight and escape. But I just know that I'm going to have a great time reading that because I love crafts. So let me know if that sounds like a book you would like to hear more about or read yourself. I can't wait to read it and review it. Okay, I'm going to get my other one on my TBR out of the way so I don't forget to mention it because I am pretty excited about it. It's available on Libby now, so I'm going to check it out. A romance called We Could Be Heroes by Philip Ellis. Okay, this one sounds so fun. I heard about it on a podcast and was intrigued because it has two meet cutes. So this is about this American actor who is in London filming like a superhero movie, and he's in the closet. He goes to like a he ends up at a drag show or something like that, and he meets like a drag queen, and I guess they kind of like hit it off. And then they meet again when the guy is like not in drag and he's working at like a bookshop, and they have like another meet cute, and the bookshop guy like knows that it's the guy that he met from the other night, but the actor like doesn't make the connection. It just looks really fun. Like the cover looks fun. I just like really like the author's vibe when I listen to the podcast, and I love meet cutes. Like, I just love them. So I think that that sounds like a lot of fun. Let me know if this book sounds like fun to you. This is going to be so satisfying to cut off. Check it out. Bam! All right, let's talk about a very polarizing thriller slash horror book, We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kliewer. All right, I know this book has been talked about to death, and half the people love it, half the people hate it. I'm on the side that loves it because I don't need everything to be wrapped up at the end of books. Like, I just have to be interested and enjoying it. So this is about this queer couple, Charlie and Eve, and they flip houses. So they just got a deal on this house and they're renovating it. And I think Charlie is out. Eve gets a knock on the door, and it's this like weird ass family. And then they're like, "Oh, we used to live here." There's like no car outside. They're like, "Can we come in and like take a tour?" And she like it's like really reluctant, and you're just like screaming at her like, "Ah, like don't let these freaky people inside." And like she lets them inside, and it's the worst decision ever because weird stuff like starts happening like immediately. People are already really creepy. Like one of their kids like runs and goes missing in the house, and things like start just getting really strange and kind of like starting to get weird. I'm not gonna say what happens, but things start getting really strange, and it just gets crazier after that. We get these kind of like looks into like what might be happening, and like the more they show you, the less you understand. And yeah, I just loved it. Like it's something that just makes your stomach flip, kind of like the Twilight Zone. And I was just thinking about it for a really long time after. I loved it. But yeah, if you're someone who needs to have all your questions, like all your ducks in a row, questions answered, like I understand why you wouldn't like it. But I had a great time reading this. All right, let's break up all these horror recommendations with some ridiculous, crazy fiction. Okay, I love books about like unhinged female characters. Like I just have such a great time. Big Swiss, no surprise. I love this book. I read this maybe last year or the year before. It's by Jen Beagin, and it's about this like transcriptionist. She's in like her late 50s. She like needs a job, and she ends up working for this sex therapist, like transcribing his sessions. And she starts like getting obsessed with one of his clients, who she refers to as Big Swiss, because I guess she's like tall and from Switzerland. And she just like becomes very obsessed with this woman through the sessions, and she ends up like finding out who she is because it's like this small town in upstate New York. And they kind of start hanging out and like exploring this like weird romance together. But she's trying to like avoid saying that like I'm obsessed with you and I listen to all of your sex therapy sessions. So like I know your deepest, darkest like traumas and secrets and stuff like that. It's just like really bizarre and fun. Like Greta, the transcriptionist, she lives in this weird like quirky house. It's like full of bees and old furniture, and it just has some of the funniest, like most strange like writing I've ever read, and I was just laughing the whole time. Like I just had a great time. So highly recommend that book. I know it's also very popular. I'm not pretending to like be unearthing any like rare gems here, but these are just books that I enjoyed. Let's keep going. Let's talk about another horror. This is like sad girl horror. Our Wives Under the Sea. Okay, this is about this I guess lesbian couple in like is it London, and one of them works in like submarines, and she something happens like with her submarine, and they get like delayed and like lose contact with the submarine, and they're gone for like something crazy like 6 months or something like that. And when they get back, when she gets back to living with her like partner, she's not the same anymore. Like it's like she's like the shell of herself, and weird stuff starts like happening to her like physically. Like she always needs to be like in water, and she's just not the same person anymore. And like throughout the book, like we're seeing her get worse and worse, but then we're also like looking back on the beautiful like life they've had together and like their relationship, and you just get closer and closer to this ending that was so sad. Like I was just crying like buckets at the end. Really beautiful story, but just extremely sad, and something that I like think about a lot. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but sad girl horror. Let's talk about a book that I read recently and enjoyed. I didn't give it 5 stars, but I still really enjoyed it. It was super weird and fun. Stop me if you've heard this one. Is about a lesbian clown in Florida who just like lives for clowning. Like she does everything to try to perfect her craft. Like it's just like her biggest passion, like making people laugh and like being a true individual, not caring what anyone thinks. You know, she's gay, she's a clown. She's just like driving in her own lane, being herself, and trying to like make it work and hustle. And she ends up meeting this like really hot magician named Margot, and she's trying to date her, but also like learn from her. And they kind of get this idea to maybe like work together and make some kind of like show. The book just shows what it's like to be like a clown in like modern day, like how she has to hustle and go to like all these birthday parties and do all these kind of like ridiculous gigs. And I really love learning about like the clowning process. Like I just had a lot of fun reading it. She's also very horny and has a thing for older moms, which could sometimes be like really awkward. Like it has one of the most jaw-dropping first scenes of a book like I've ever read. It also talks a lot about kind of like being queer in Florida, and it seems like it is something that is really difficult. But the themes I got from it were like, be true to yourself, and like don't let anyone stop you from being who you are, and pursuing your passions, like being an individual. So I did really enjoy that one, even if it was like a little bit strange. Not my favorite book ever, but one that I enjoyed. Check it out. I can't believe I let things get this bad. Okay, the last book on my list that I'll talk about before I rip off this vest because I am sweating real hard is Sister Snake by Amanda Lee Coe. So Sister Snake is like fantasy and horror. It's about sisterhood and found family, like not conforming, being true to yourself. And basically about these two like shape-shifting snakes that are actually, they've been alive since like the Tang Dynasty. They're immortal. In modern times, one of them is really good at being human, the other one not so much. And they kind of like butt heads, and every few decades they try to like reconcile. And so they end up like in Singapore trying to like work things out, and they end up kind of like hurting each other like beyond repair, and like you don't really know if they're going to be able to like work out their relationship. And there's also like some queer characters, like the author is apparently queer. We see like what it's like to be queer in Singapore, and like how difficult it is to like exist in society and be accepted in your family. And it just has this like really beautiful story that made me cry a lot at the end. Really beautiful writing. I had a great time reading it. Let me know if you've read it. It was one of my 5-star reads of the year. And yeah, that's it for this video today. Here is the total of what I got rid of. So looking pretty good. Hopefully these plants will be thriving again this summer. Thanks so much for watching today. Tishka, baby. Thanks so much for watching this video today. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if any of them are now on your TBR. And thanks so much for watching. We will see you guys next time. It's time to take this guy out for a little walk. Huh, baby? Bye.